Hi, and welcome to another GCP in about 3 minutes today. So if this one's on antagonistic pairs, if you haven't seen the one on antagonistic muscle action, go and check that out first. That gives you a bit of a basis for this one. So we'll look at the pairs in a minute. And before we move on, as we go through, we're going to talk about the agonist and the antagonist. Now, the agonist is the muscle that is contracting and pulling and moving the bones. The antagonist is the muscle that is relaxing and lengthening. So we're going to look at both of those today, the agonist and the antagonist, in the next part of this video. So these are the pairs you're going to need to learn for GCSE PE. If you want to screenshot this page, that's a good idea. I'll just pause a second. And you can go through this. So the first one we're going to look at are the triceps and the biceps. Now they work as a pair. I spoke about this in the last video. So the triceps extend the arm at the elbow, and the biceps cause flexion at the elbow. Okay, and so you can think of any action for the triceps as the agonist, where you're pushing your arms forwards. So at the end of a throw, in this one, you've got a volleyball player outstretched arms ready to block the ball, so they're reaching upwards. Bicep, as you go to prepare to serve in tennis, as you take the racket behind your back, or in badminton, just before you're going to execute the shot, you bend at the elbow, you flex at the elbow, ready to come through to hit the shuttlecock. Okay, so we've got our triceps behind, and we've got our biceps in front. Remember, muscles can only pull, they can't push. So the biceps pull, causing flexion. The triceps, when they pull, they cause extension. Next ones, we'll look at the gluteus maximus. That's your backside muscle. And we'll look at the hip flexors, which create flexion at your hips, so in front of your body. Okay, so the gluteus maximus is really important when we're taking our leg and stretching it back, and we're driving back during running, or we're taking our leg back, ready to kick the football. It's going to bring our upper leg backwards. Now our hip flexors, they do the opposite. So they're going to bring flexion at our hip. The clue is in the name. And they're going to lift our leg forwards and upwards. Okay, so as you kick through, that's going to happen. If you're doing a front crawl action, as you kick down, your hip flexors are going to be in action. Okay, next ones. So the deltoids and the pectorals, but also latissimus dorsi. So we've got deltoids on one side, and they're on the outside of that arm. Now the pectorals and the latissimus dorsi are the opposite of the deltoids. Because the shoulder's so movable, it has more than one pair. So you can use either one really in this. So the deltoid, that creates abduction. It takes the arm away from the body. And the pectorals and latissimus dorsi, they bring the arm back to the body. So the deltoids are going to come into action. They're going to take your arms out, ready to set up for a football throw-in, okay? Or doing butterfly arms, or preparing for a cartwheel. Now the pectorals and latissimus dorsi, they're going to pull down. If you're in circuit training, you do a pull-up on a bar, that's those working. So in swimming, when you're pulling backwards on the water, you're using your latissimus dorsi in particular. Okay, so your pectorals are your chest, and your latissimus dorsi are your back muscles there. Now the quadriceps and hamstrings, we've got our quadriceps at the front and our hamstrings at the back, and they work in opposite. So when the hamstrings contract, they're going to bring your lower leg backwards and towards your backside. So your heel's going to come towards your backside. And then as you're running, what happens is you lift your lower leg up towards your backside, ready to prepare and move it forwards. Okay, as you're ready to take a kick, or ready to take a kick in front crawl or backstroke, that's going to happen. Now your quadriceps create that kicking action. They're going to swing your lower leg forward as they contract, as they're the agonist. And the last one, so we'll look at tibialis anterior, that's on the front of your leg, and the gastrocnemius muscle, which is behind your leg. Now these operate your foot, okay? So they cause plantar flexion, that's the gastrocnemius, that's pointing of the toes, and the tibialis anterior does dorsiflexion, where you bring your toe towards your knee. You can practice that as you're watching this video. Okay, so they happen during the swimming stroke. So you're going to point your toes ready to kick, and in the recovery part after you've kicked, your foot's going to go into dorsiflexion and then back into plantar flexion. When you're kicking a football, you're going to plantar flex your foot, ready to make contact with the ball. So your gastrocnemius muscle is going to make sure that foot points. Here they've got examples of driving your foot forward in the long jump. So you're going to lift your toes up, get your heels forward, ready to land. And in diving, you can go up onto your toes to get that last push for the dive. Okay, thanks for watching. Apologies, it's a little bit longer than normal, but I hope your revision's going really well. If you haven't seen some of the other videos, go and check them out on the rest of the channel.